mean that is a difficult one.
Yeah.
It's probably ace number 3 here in Charlotte, or
Oh, interesting.
could be the lobster roll in Maine.
There we go.
Could be.
Yeah,
Which
I knew the
one?
lobster. Oh, the lobster
Oh.
roll. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Pocket Dimension, where 4 friends, and today a new friend, our friend Graham. He's not a new friend. You know what I'm saying. Joining us today, we're going to talk about hills that we'll die on.
Are we? Is that what we're gonna do? Oh my god.
Sexual
Hey!
orientation.
Oh, good God!
Oh, weird. There's
That's-
a demon behind me.
There is a demon behind you. AK, run for your life.
Running away.
Hello, everyone. I'd like, for some reason, I feel like I should say we've missed y'all. We've definitely missed you, Fitz and AK. We missed you last week. We had a fun time playing a game, but that's why it feels so fresh and new today. It must be. Why is this thing in front of
I
me?
know.
We abandoned y'all for lobster.
We did.
For lobster, for weddings,
I regret
for the wonderful company of our friend Graham, who is here for only one more day. Is that right?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Home
No
tomorrow.
speaking. No speaking of that. Oh, boring. Just boring.
Who the heck are
It's
you?
not too late to change your mind.
Yeah, who are we?
Who are you?
Who are we? Yes. Hi, my name is Matt.
Hi, I'm AK.
I'm Evans, UN Special Envoy to the Squirrel Nation, DigitalTwisted.
I'm Fitz. Hail Noblob.
Oh, hail noblob, noblob.
I'm so excited to, I was a little worried after how well Noblob went over last week. I was worried that I was going to lose my seat permanently to, and if I had to lose my seat permanently to anybody, I would happily lose it to Sarah Mobs, because
True.
There'd be one.
a gift.
She's a delight. She's a gift. A gift.
Evan is
And a gift, really.
And a gift.
And a gift.
Who's here? So we have
Yeah.
Noblob, aka Sarah Mobs, with us.
Yay.
We have Cozy Cassie and Jax. We've got Mike, who is apparently also Scottish. If you're here, say hi, drop something in the comments so we know to.
Yes,
you
please.
Open World
Addict.
is here. Yes, you were
Yes.
here. This is so excited. Drewski be in and out, like the burger chain.
Did Sam come? Did
oh,
Sam
Sam was
come
here.
just for the PowerPoint?
I think so.
You love a PowerPoint, Sam. I know you. I know you. I'm sorry that we're late. For some reason, my computer had crises today, but it's all right. It's okay. We're here now. We're ready to rock.
Melted down. Actually, the real reason that Evan is no longer with us is because we kicked him out because he refused to dye his hair a fun color and replaced him with somebody who
Him
did.
not
I
him
know.
not dyeing his hair
That's it.
is a limiting belief for him.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
No.
Yeah, we need
No,
to get him on
yeah.
our level.
Yes.
If you're not in our Discord, you missed the real reason why Evan's not here, and I'm not going to spoil it for you live on air. You got to join our Discord.
Yep.
Link is
Yeah,
in the bio.
that's a
is in
good.
the show
That's a
notes,
good
too.
ploy.
Like,
Yes.
why?
Also, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, then you also won't find out.
You must
That's
subscribe.
not true.
All right.
That's
well,
not true.
Graham and I
That's
are
not
currently
true.
sitting on the tail end of a hurricane, so that's fun.
Oh, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you made it.
I'm
Did
glad-
anybody have any hurricane issues? Who would that be? No, not Blade Bound. Hello, Blade Bound. Evan had some rain.
Yeah, Georgia got.
Was it
smashed.
bad there? Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as I think it was worse in some parts and not as bad in others. My best friend who's incoming was like, yeah, we still have power, we're fine, but other parts got hammered, and I think it's veering further west now. So
Okay.
over towards Kentucky, Tennessee, maybe into the mountains. Apparently the mountains of North Carolina are really, really gonna get. But enough about that. Dan Freeman, hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
So Well, can we for a minute, just because Matt's going to be so proud in a number of ways, I want to talk about what we were doing while we weren't here last week. We being myself, Fitz, and DigitalTwisted. We were up in Maine.
Please.
One of our good friends got married. My brother and sister-in-law happen to live in Portland, Maine, a place I love to go, as you all know. And before he came over, DigitalTwisted was like, what if we tried a game that's not D&D? What would that even look like?
Yes.
And what if it was like kind of a horror, a scary, a spooky game? How would that be? And so DigitalTwisted spent a lot of time putting together Alien the RPG for us to run as a one-shot. Myself, Fitz, Evan, and Bria. Not Evan of the Bivens variety, Evan of the Kendrick variety. And I'm just here to say it was a whole lot of fun, and I hope that we play a whole lot more Alien. A whole lot more Alien.
It was good. It was good, y'all. It was, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that a free league? I can't remember who.
Yeah, that's free league.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Then there you go.
Yep.
Free league is... I'm so excited to go to Gamehole Con in a few weeks because Free League, I think it's their favorite con. They're just all up on Con. And they're the classiest. Like, I'm thinking about going to Sweden just to visit Free League. Because I bet it would be awesome just to walk in and see their brilliance at work. I'm glad.
You know what? Come with me when I go next summer, Matt. Yeah, we'll do a little, a mini pocket con.
I'm coming.
I would love that.
Let's go.
I would love that.
Yeah,
let's go.
Let's do this.
Okay.
You might even get the inside scoop on some of the upcoming Alien news because they're about to launch the second edition Kickstarter later this year.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
I'm psyched.
How did it feel GMing it, DT? You want
to how is DT as a GM?
Amazing. So fun.
Yeah.
So much thought put in. It's really good at like creating like an immersive experience for all of us. There was a video in the background. There was a soundscape going on. There were audio cues. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun GMing it. Obviously, first time running Alien. I'd only played it myself one time previously, so a little bit of teething problems, but nothing too crazy. It was it went well. I think everyone seemed to enjoy themselves, and that's the most important thing. So.
And my stars to Fitz for being an utter chaos gremlin. I can't like give away what Fitz did, but like I made my brother angry in game. Like
he's never gonna forgive me.
It was a better kind of ending than I could have hoped for.
So, the basic premise with Alien is that when you pick a character, you don't get like the full description until if you're doing one of the pre-gens. And so each of the characters has like kind of a hidden agenda, if you will. And I don't want to give any of them away for anybody who's going to play it, so that way you don't know the agendas of the other one. So you kind of have like your role on the ship and what you do, and that's the part you know before you select the character. And then once you get the character sheet, it's like, these are some of the tools you have, and this is what you really think about X, Y, and Z. So Fitz really played to your agenda incredibly well, and at the 11th hour, fuck some shit up.
I did.
I never got to say it at the time, actually, but you actually did it so well that you definitely got awarded a story point for that. So if we play it again in future, you have a story point under your belt.
Yeah. So what's a story point?
A story point is normally in what they call a one-shot in Alien is cinematic play. There's campaign play and cinematic play. And in cinematic play, it's supposed to follow the kind of standard arc of an Alien movie. So there's Act 1, 2, and 3. And in each act, you've got that personal agenda. So you start off with a personal agenda in Act 1. It'll update as things transpire for Act 2, and then the same again for Act 3. And one of the GM's roles in Alien is that if the players actively work towards that agenda while playing the game, they can be awarded a story point at the end of the session. And a story point belongs to the player, not the character. So if you're awarded a story point, it means that even if you come back next time to play a different cinematic one-shot with a different character, you still have your story point because it belongs to the player. And what the story points do is, in Alien, it's a D6-based system, and you're not doing an awful lot of math. You're really just looking for sixes because those are successes. So you're looking for the number of successes rather than adding up the total of the dice. And what a story point does is gives you a guaranteed one success. So if at any point you don't roll any successes, but you've got a story point in your back pocket, you can just go, no, I succeed.
So it's inspiration basically, or hero points, but it's player based. I love that because a lot of times it is anyway, right? Like a lot of times it is the player that you're doling out inspiration. That's great.
Because spoiler alert, we all died. Which you and Evan would be very proud of, Matt. We TPK'd.
I was the first to die.
You were. You were the first to die.
Goodbye.
Oh man, that just warms my heart.
And it was so fun to die because of like the way it happened and the way it went down and and had we been playing longer, I died. We all started dying towards the very end of the session. Anywho. Yeah. Had I died earlier, I would have been, and there are also other things like when there's player versus player combat, which is encouraged in Alien. Whichever one loses the PvP becomes an NPC that the GM takes control of, and then you grab a new character and come in, which could be so chaotic and so fun.
I know we don't want to spoil the story for anyone that chooses to play Last Hope's, Hope's Last Day in the future, but would you like to explain how you died, AK?
At Fitz's character's hand? Oh, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, which had to do with Fitz's character's agenda in the end. What was it? Because you're going to have to remind me it was so long ago. It was a whole week ago. All of the mechanics of it. But there's a mechanic where like it's not panic. What is it? At the very...
Panic
roll.
Panic.
You got panic roll, yeah.
So there's a table involved, or basically like you're rolling die and where you like wind up on a table. So like you could be completely catatonic, which is what happened to Evan and Bria. So there was nothing they could do to help or save me. They're just like lying on the floor freaking out. And my character went absolutely feral. And basically you have to like lash out at the nearest player, which happened to be Fitz, who then had a panic roll, who lashed out back. And so it's this cool like dice telling the story, but then you're like creating narratively like what fueled it underneath. It was so fun. It was so fun.
Is the system closer to Powered by the Apocalypse, or
I think it's kind of like an offshoot of Powered by the Apocalypse. I think obviously they've done their own things, but so you've got your standard hit points, then you've got stress points as well. And what the stress points do in this game is they add stress dice. So you've got your base d6s, but then you've got your So the more stress you've got, the more stress dice you add to your roll. By having stress dice, it actually gives you more opportunities to succeed because there's more sixes potentially. But if you roll a 1 on your stress dice, that's what triggers your panic. So
interesting.
That all have a lot of stress. There's just panic flying all over the place, and it becomes like absolute chaos gremlin joy.
So yeah, I died in a fit of panic and anxiety, is what I'm telling you, and it was glorious.
It was glorious.
Was that what you wanted to share, TT? That part of it?
Yeah, it's just you didn't die to some nameless creature. You were just shot in the head by your own compatriot.
Yeah. So I think we should play more of it. I think that, like, I see our friends from Cobalt Press are here. Like Tales of the Valiant, we want to start doing more of these games for our monthly patron one-shots. And I the whole time we were playing, my only complaint is that Matt and Evan weren't there. Because y'all would love it. I mean, and again, I love playing with my brother. That's the first time I've ever played an RPG with my brother and sister-in-law, and that's something I've been wanting to do for a really, really long time. So check that box, and it's something I think that they would be interested in continuing. And that's the thing, like that's the whole thing that we always talk about on all of these shows and everything that we do, right? Is that like it's just about like finding the genre that's right for you. And so even though Evan and Bria have long wanted to get into TTRPGs and like fantasy, like they're certainly not against the more like traditional fantasy stuff, doing something with a horror bend, like they were like immediately, yes, absolutely, yes, sign us up. When are you going to be here? We'll order pizza. Let's go.
Wow.
And
love that.
Yeah, just find and I liked it. And granted, there was the comfortability of obviously playing it with a GM that I know and players that I know, but I liked it more than some of the other things we played at cons. I liked it more than Vampire. I liked it more than Morkborg. And no shade on any of those systems. I also love playing them, but this was one of my favorites that I've played.
So Alien, 2 thumbs up.
Sweet. Freaking sweet.
And the offer remains open to play a game in future for all of the Hive, including yourself and Evan, Matt. So anytime, just give me the word.
It's crappening.
Then
baby.
it's happening. It's
Yeah.
happening then. Thumbs up for that then. Heck yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Love it.
Well,
Thanks for that report.
anytime.
What was on the pizza?
What?
We had a cheese.
Oh, they had a baked potato pizza with like
There we
shredded
go.
potato
Okay.
and
right, good.
feta and spinach, but it had bacon on it, so sadly
I couldn't have,
it's
and I
good.
do love me a feta.
I just know talk of food really fires up the chat. They just get
They really do. They love
psyched
to get into
about
it.
food.
And actually,
The
that was
potato pizza. Discuss.
aioli
I love
all
it.
over it.
I love
would
Feta
love
cheese. All right.
That was actually
Mhm.
one of the topics we thought about for our PowerPoint party was like the definitive list of best snacks for D&D, like
Yeah.
nacho cheese Doritos versus Cool Ranch discuss.
Oh.
Mhm.
So, original versus double stuff Oreos.
Double stuff. Duh.
That's
Interesting.
incorrect on
Yeah,
that.
double
on the
stuff.
baseline. Well, speaking of PowerPoint parties, how do we want to do this? So, I found out yesterday after we made the decision to do a PowerPoint party that Matt was very sweetly, I'm sorry to throw you under the bus, dear one, was like, I don't actually know what a PowerPoint party is.
You know what? That's not entirely true, because when you said it, I then remembered that I had a lovely conversation with our mutual friend Sarah Brock Rhodes, and she and I had talked about doing a PowerPoint party, but it was so long ago, and I didn't know that that was specifically what you were talking about, and I certainly didn't know that there was I had to come to the table. I thought it was just like, hey, let's have a PowerPoint somewhere and talk about stuff, but this was a whole new thing.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready though.
It's a whole new world, baby.
I feel like this is a very millennial thing of like none of
Yes,
us want to
is.
go out, so like let's all like gather
It
at home.
is.
You can either like pre-prepare your PowerPoint, or you can
Yeah.
like all take like a few minutes to put your PowerPoint together. You don't have to be a designer. You don't have to be particularly smart or funny. You can use it educationally. You can be random. You can. I think it's a great excuse to rant about things that you're very passionate about. So do we want to play this like Daggerheart where somebody just goes first, or do we want to roll for initiative to see the order?
Let's roll for
order of
initiative.
things? Oh.
Let's.
So we're playing like Tales of the Valiant and rolling for
Yes. Oh God,
Somebody
I say
roll
that
for
and then.
me. Uh-oh. Where did my thing go?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
What do
Oh, no.
Oh, all right. Okay. So you did kick off the chat, Matt, with that.
I did.
It's New
Oh,
England.
good.
It doesn't matter.
As
The
is
pizza
tradition.
I
will
did.
be
Yes.
great.
Good. You're welcome. Okay. But what did people roll?
I rolled a 14.
Nice.
I got a 7.
Uh-huh.
I got a
Fits.
4.
Okay.
Thanks, Google.
Then I got a 19.
Oh, don't make me go after Graham. Graham, can we switch initiative?
Yes, we
Thank you.
can. We can do it like Alien and switch initiatives, because
Bless.
that's something you can do in Alien.
Thank you.
Nicely
Oh.
done.
There it is.
Okay,
Wow.
I'm gonna switch us over here. I'm gonna get the right layer on me. No more Maddie screen share.
There we go.
I'm gonna screen share. Matthew, are you ready?
I'm ready. Dun, da, da, da. No, that's the last slide, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Spoiler
I know.
alerts.
Hold
Nobody
on,
look.
Yep.
Hold
Everybody
on,
close your eyes.
Hold on. Let me fix.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, spoiler. Yeah. That's
Okay.
fine.
Well, it's okay. Nobody's paying. We were all
It's,
okay.
it's not a big deal.
I have to remember the right order of operations to do
Yes,
this.
of course. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I pressed play and there we
How
go.
about this?
I created a PowerPoint called Rule 0. The GM is always right. Because that is my hill that I'm going to die upon.
I feel attacked.
Well, then, if you already feel attacked, just buckle up, baby. I just want to say I'm not attacking any particular person of any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying this is the hill I'm going to die on.
Okay, great.
I have gone into chats. I've gone into forums. I've gone to Reddit, and I've discussed these things with peoples. So All right.
Chat, be noisy during this. I want to hear y'all's feedback as it's coming in.
Yeah.
For all of these things. All right.
Yes, the subtitle is on the clickbaity side. They may not be a god, but it's still their game. So STFU.
I love this energy that you're bringing here. All right,
No, Matt
ready?
did not come to play.
Yep.
All right.
Next slide. The unspoken rules of TTRPGs. These are apparently there's a canon. Rule 0. The GM always has the last word. Rule -1. A player can always leave the game. So the DM should really be prudent in the exercise of Rule 0. Rule -2. However, it's harder for a player to find a new table than for a GM to find new players. So players should be prudent in the exercise of Rule -1. And then finally, all dwarves must have Scottish accents. Right, Graham?
That's a left
That's pretty
turn right
fair.
there.
Nice. So those are the rules, and that's what Rule 0 is. Next slide, please.
Drax.
This being said, exactly. This being said, next, a DM should not think of himself or themselves as having the right of Rule 0, right? It's just a way to control the game, certain rules in the game. A GM should instead think of themselves as having the responsibility of controlling the game, and therefore being given the rule of giving Rule 0 to help with that, right? Because ultimately, that is what Rule 0 is. A tool given to the GM to keep the game fun, engaging, and moving. It's not a right to do whatever they like to the people playing with them. That's not what we're saying here. In other words, Rule 0 is not a matter of with great power comes great responsibility, but rather the reverse of that. With great responsibility comes great power. Right? Does that make sense? Okay.
Delicious.
Yeah, and next slide. This is
Okay, sorry.
I came up with this one myself. Yeah.
Okay.
There is no I in Game Master.
But there is an M and an E.
I wish I thought of that. Perfect. A good GM is on your side, right? But please just understand, just keep it in your head. The GM has done a lot of work to get the game going today. A lot. And wants the game to be challenging and increasing stakes. This is a picture of them fighting. And therefore, next, it's their table, it's their rules, right? Good GMs are just trying to tell the best story, so it's their table for the moment. This could be totally different in the way that you would play these rules. It's totally up to the way that you, as a GM, can come to the table and do your own thing. Because next, a bad GM will soon have an empty table.
Because Rule -1?
Yep, exactly. Yes, because of Rule -1.
I'm keeping notes.
Great. However, next slide, there are valid reasons to contest Rule 0, I think.
Oh.
Yes. Number 1, I think if your GM uses it too much. That's, again, this is about power. This is, not about, this is about, you have responsibility. This is not about ultimate control of power. Secondly, you can tell that your GM doesn't understand your intent in the game. There's been some kind of obvious miscommunication during the table. However, in my mind, this does not include the player's personal interpretation of a spell or a feat or any other rules lore type things. Now that's the most controversial statement I'm going to say today, but I really believe it because but I know we'll get to the next slide. But because I feel like this takes you out of the game, it breaks the immersion and so on and so forth. If the GM has not gone over their personal home rules with you, that's also a very valid reason. It's like, hey, you only have 2 death saves. No, you should have told the people that beforehand.
Yeah.
That's
no
fair.
moving the goalposts.
No moving the goalposts.
None of that.
And then finally, your GM is just never prepared. And it's obvious, and they're never prepared ever. And you're just like, oh, come on, man. This is ridiculous.
Come on, man. There's some good chatter fodder happening.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, I think we should go through it, and then
Okay.
We'll discuss.
I only have 2 more slides left. My last sort of point is kind of based on the last slide, which is just try not to lame the game. That's another quote by me. What do you guys think?
I actually really like that. I like that more than I like Rule of Cool. Don't lame the game. I love that.
Don't lame the game. Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking. Contesting a GM in-game takes everybody out. It takes the GM out, which is okay. But it takes everybody out. So that's not as much fun. If you have an issue in-game, just say, hey, GM, I just have to say this is really bugging me. This is really, annoying. You could be as direct as you want at that point. But that's, again, out of game, and that makes sense to me. And then another thing I thought was, what if there was a preferred way to kind of whisper to a GM? And again, in the cases that I mentioned in the last slide, where you're like, oh, no, you just didn't understand what I meant. This is what I mean. I think you didn't hear me or whatever correctly. So here's what I was trying to do. And that's happened before. We have a friend named Matt Williams. He does a great job of doing that. It's like, just so you know, I didn't mean to, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
So, the takeaway from this is my last slide, which is, I feel like I have another hill to die on, and I believe that all players should GM at least one game in their lives. And I'm just saying that because I feel that it is a transformative experience for all players, understanding-wise, patience-wise, and rules-wise, right? I think.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Thank you. That's my PowerPoint. I started off very serious. I took this very seriously. I'm sure that everyone else is going to be fun and non-controversial. And
in fact, I already this morning, just to spoiler alert, I had to issue an apology to someone preemptively in case they think I'm targeting them with mine, because I realized we did something in game, and I'm like, if I don't say something, it's going to sound like I'm attacking. And I'm not aiming to attack, but I am going to take this very seriously.
Could I go to the chat real quick and just see?
Absolutely. True Cox, I don't know that we've gotten to see you here before, but you were just presenting some bangers in the comments.
I know. True Cox has been a couple of times, I think, has joined us a couple of times. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Let's see. What was being said? Jax would die of anxiety if she had to do that. Like speaking and speaking your mind and stuff. I don't think you should. Is that what you were saying, Jax? I don't think you should. I think after the game, just saying, hey, this is definitely not how I play it, and it would be cool if we could get more on the same plane.
Yeah. So something we have long talked about at our table is having a safe word that kind of takes you out of the moment. And we never actually have come up with a safe word. And now after going to Maine together and using a safe word with one another, I think that I'm ready with our safe word. And that safe word is Poughkeepsie. So if you hear me saying Poughkeepsie,
wait a minute, hold on. Are you saying Poughkeepsie?
Poughkeepsie.
Wow.
Poughkeepsie.
That's a choice.
Poughkeepsie.
But I like Poughkeepsie. Just in case we aren't clear of if you're talking about the place or the safe word.
The safe word is
Poughkeepsie versus Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie. That's officially going to be at all of our tables. The Wrap
That's
it
the
up.
X card.
Don't be a fool. Wrap your rule or whatever it was that Jack said.
Yeah.
Anyways, anything else in the chat you'd like
Yeah,
to add,
True Cox says that the slide that they disagree with is it's our table, but the DM is referee. Yes, that's a better way of putting it. Thank you for that. The reason I focused on their table there is more because I believe everybody should be the GM at some point. And if you have an interpretation, say, for example, of a spell, of something like that really means a lot to you, then it should be your table soon. It should, you should say, but you're totally right. You're totally right. The goal is to make it our table where there isn't any discord, really. I mean, or very, very little, that you are on the same wavelength and you agree to the same things. Man, I played with Sarah Mobs the other day, and this is unbelievable. But Moonbeam was cast. That spell that is so freaking confusing because the rules don't literally say. They don't actually say whether you immediately take damage and then you take damage again.
Yeah.
It's so, and we've gone back and forth about it. That night we went back and forth about it. But there's no way to do all of that every single time you can't remember. Oh yeah, do you have the spell Moonbeam? We got to talk about that.
Yeah.
So just, again, I'm not pointing out. I'm not. It's totally fine. And especially if the GM's like, guys, how do you stops the immersion themselves and says, how do you run this? How do you do this? Because I know it's different everywhere. Yeah. Those are my thoughts. Thank you. Next.
Amazing. All right. Should I go next and then we'll do Fitz and then Graham? Just to make sure I have the right things pulled up. Then alrighty. I would like to talk to you today about a very serious problem plaguing our D&D tables, and that is shopping sucks. Because loot should be legendary and not a tedious grocery list. A hill I will die on by Allison Kendrick. And this is how shopping makes me feel a lot of the time.
I'm with you on this one. This might be a hill for me as well.
Let's all get on the same page about why I feel this way, okay? Shopping in D&D is, in fact, an unnecessary evil because it kills the adventure momentum. I know that a lot of times we use it for downtime stuff. I'm just saying, I think that there are more imaginative ways that we can have downtime together. It turns epic heroes into penny-pinching bargain hunters. Do not we just slayed a dragon and now I've got to go back and forth with you on the price of a sword. And finally, it promotes unhealthy hoarding behaviors. How many healing potions do you need? That's what your cleric is for.
I'm a
Come at me,
hoarder
bro.
for sure.
So now that we're on the same page about shopping in D&D, obviously a PowerPoint is not a PowerPoint without some kind of stat. So
my God! Wow, it's so fancy.
This is very mathematical, evidential proof. 99% of players and GMs hate shopping. I am convinced. Todd is the exception. Don't be like Todd.
Don't be like Todd.
Wow.
Don't be like Todd.
And by the way, you might not realize that you hate shopping, but you will by the end of this here PowerPoint presentation. So let's talk about why exactly it is that shopping sessions make us want to eat our dice. Debating the cost of cheese is not heroic.
Fair.
Endless haggling doesn't make for epic storytelling, and that's one I will say.
Doesn't.
I have learned to love role playing, but I hate role playing haggling. Never does that feel like fantasy and good. And one player's perfect shopping is everyone else's nightmare. So you always have that one player who wants to get that item, and they're going to do anything to get it, and then talk about taking us out of the immersion. But as you guys know, as you all know about me, Allison Lee Kendrick, I am solution oriented. So we're not just here to bitch, okay? We're here to talk solutions on ways you can level up and get cool-ass loot without a shopping episode.
I'm ready. I'm so ready for this.
Idea number 1, give them a loot fairy.
Oh.
They drop off magical items when the party least expects it. They can leave quirky notes like, for that time you didn't set the tavern on fire.
Nice.
And finally, sorry, my cues aren't all working. You can incorporate either whimsical or cursed items to keep things interesting. Keep your players guessing.
Yeah.
Right?
Keep it
Yes.
Just sprinkle,
Yeah.
just have a little, give them a cute
I love that
name,
one.
right? Just give them a little loot fairy, give them a little name. Everything's gonna be fine.
Mhm.
The next way that we can avoid a shopping episode is to go on a scavenger hunt together. And who doesn't love a scavenger hunt? Send your party on a silly goose chase for items hidden in cryptic locations.
Oh.
Doesn't that sound more fun than going to the store together with a grocery list in our hand? We could, have clues that are tied to the lore and backstories of the party members. That way we together, like, uncover more about one another than just sitting in, like, fireside talks.
Yes.
And finally, we incorporate mini quests that add flavor and character development without giving the DM a whole lot. Like, a scavenger hunt probably would be the most for a DM to have to navigate, but it's a little bit different than, the rest of the story and can be more player-fueled to give the DM a break, too.
May I have a quick note on that one? That is such a great idea. And I think that would be an incredible idea that I've somehow never thought of for when players can't join. Are there 2 players out of the 4 that are gone?
Yep.
Give them some kind of cool mini quest that is wrapped like wrapping up a shopping episode.
By the way, because he's now in the chat, it was Bladebound Saga that I had to apologize to. I'm being funny with all of this because we just had a shopping episode and it was wonderful and amazing. So I do just want to make it very clear that this is all in good fun, that with the right GM who brings the right flavor of chaos, which Bladebound Saga, Rice Combo, Daniel, whatever we're calling him today, does do. So no shade to any GM that I've ever actually played with. I don't actually hate this stuff, but I did feel like ranting about it. So thank you for it. The next is my most unhinged idea, and that is the loot roulette. I don't need to say anything else about this. Just chaos.
Yeah, I like it.
That's all you need to know. So and we kind of did this in our first campaign together, where there was like almost like a table roll that we got to do, and that was the loot you got once you hit the things. And I always like that. So let's put it on a wheel and roll that beautiful beam footage. And finally, and it's funny because I saw somebody up here talking about crafting. Why not make it a crafting montage instead of going shopping? It encourages the party to create their own gear with what they have, ingenuity, creativity. Okay. And I like Tabletop Phoenix, by the way, you were the source of inspiration on this one because I know you love a crafting situation. And I tend to play with people who are just real big-brained about this stuff. I never am, but I would like to get better. And then you can have like the shopping aspect of it. So once they craft these absolutely unhinged things, you can actually give them the loot that they might actually need by way of NPC trades.
That's fun.
Okay.
That's
These
really
are my
fun.
solutions for all of you.
Can you go back one slide? Could you go back? Sorry.
I don't know if I can.
Okay, that's fine. This is
yes,
really good. Loot roulette.
Hold on.
I love that. It's kind of like what do they call it? White squirrel Christmas. What is the thing that you do at Christmas?
Oh, white elephant.
White
during
elephant.
Santa. Yeah.
You could do that. You could just as a GM, you could have something like know that the players would benefit, a few of them, and then just let them.
Yep. By the way, one of my other favorite GMs, I'm here again to say I'm not attacking any of my favorite GMs. And Tay, you were obviously one of my other favorite GMs who I've done many a shopping episode with. Slides in to say shopping episodes are only bad because of player entitlement. Yes. As an entitled player, I'm just going to give that to you. I'm not even going to argue with it. You were correct. I'm just saying let's all, find a way to inject a little more whimsy. And that's the thing is until this idea came in, thank you ChatGPT, I hadn't realized this was not something I was aware of really until I started making this. So this is my challenge to everybody. Now that we're aware, let's try some of these other things.
Let's do better. Yeah. Let's be better.
Let's do when you know better, do better. Is all
Very
our
positive.
response to Trilla Trust.
It's our response to
it's our response to Trilla Trust together that the GM is always right, and in return for us saying yes, GM, you are always right. You're not. You don't really give us shopping episodes, anyways, Maddie, but others do.
I do the opposite. I do the far opposite, and I could come closer to the middle too because I don't want a shopping episode myself, but I don't know what else to do. Sometimes I love all of your ideas. Gosh darn it.
You do a more reward-based system where we find the items we need in world, and I love that about
that's
you.
more my jam.
Maddie.
Find it along the way.
So what is a PowerPoint presentation without an obnoxious stat, a quote, and the words in conclusion? Now I have to give you a visual cue that I'm wrapping this up. In conclusion.
Great.
Oh my gosh.
Ditch the shopping list. Embrace the chaos. Get you and your party a big-ass rubber ducky. Keep that gameplay dynamic and engaging. Sorry, I just cut somebody off.
No, it's just so beautiful. I'm just stunned.
Create memorable story-driven moments. And finally, if I hit spacebar enough, it'll come. Reduces in-game bickering over trivial details. Something surely none of us have ever faced.
So ours kind of went together a tiny bit.
I do.
In scope.
They did. They complemented each other well. And that is my PowerPoint presentation on why shopping sucks.
Amazing.
That's so beautiful. I mean, just lovely looking.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
That's been,
No, I'm not comfortable with following that.
Pro, freaking
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, come on. You know who you're working with here and the extraness.
I
Okay,
know.
so I want to get the chance that Matt got to do. I saw some coming in.
Some good takes
in
the chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like Taze combined with the fact that magic items and gear, this is me. A thousand. It's not even really that I forget.
Yeah.
It's not even, honestly, that I forget. And I know that players are like, ooh, if I just had something like this to balance out this and I could really, or a combination, which is interesting because they're trying to give me what I want sometimes. Like, can you spice up combat by being more? Sure, I can if I had a pearl of power or whatever.
Yep.
But I have none. I have no motivation. I never care about it.
Yep. And then
As a player.
I've seen some really great comments along the stream from Ryoko as well. I'm just tired of having to guess what the shop has. It's just, and so one thing that we did in one of our first campaigns is our GM just started sending us an Excel file ahead of time, and it was like, pick what you want, mark your gold off, put it in your inventory, and we just kind of like moved things along.
There's someone in the chat who said like, I just don't even like tracking gold. Gold shouldn't exist in the game, and you know what? I'm down with that. I hate tracking gold. I don't love it. I don't. It's tedious.
Yeah,
it doesn't motivate me. In life or in game.
Yeah, so all I was really trying to get anybody, if your table likes shopping and you as a GM like shopping, by all means. I'm not actually here to rain on anybody's parade, but like I want everybody, especially the GMs in the room, to just ask themselves that question. Okay. You know, just ask yourself, do I like shopping and does my table like shopping? And if the answer is no, go be a gremlin.
Find other ways.
Some other way.
The gold can also tie into like the other ways that you've suggested. Like if you're doing crafting mechanics, you could be using the gold for like buying crafting components rather than the actual items and stuff like that.
Yep. And Tay's on the same page. Just straight up ask players what they want and hide it somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah. Love it. I love that.
Done.
And for the record, to be clear, back to Bladebound Saga, we are playing in Exandria. Mighty Nine is the hill. The other hill I will die on is Mighty Nine is the best campaign. I love Pumat Soul. I love the Invulnerable Vagrant. And anytime I get to go there as a player, got to go there in Tay's game, got to go there in Bladebound's game, and that's a treat. That's actually why Pumat Soul was referenced on my first slide. So y'all would know I'm not hating on you. You were lovely as GMs. Fitz, you ready?
Yes.
I'll stop ranting now.
So you guys have hills that you're going to die on. I've brought something a little bit different because I did make this at 1 a.m. last night after having a panic attack over Bud and Herb. So we are going to be doing, for me, some shadow work. This is my come to Beelzebub moment.
Yes.
That I'm going to walk through with all of us together, okay? Today, we are going to work through Action Economy Gives Me Anxiety, A Reckoning.
Wow.
Yes. All right.
I love that we gave ourselves therapy today. Well done, friends.
We're going through therapy because you see,
Steve.
in any round, there's just too much. All right, you got to make sure you're using your action. You've got reactions. You've got movements, bonus action, free action. What even is a free action? What constitutes an object interaction? And then if I do that, can I hand it off to my buddy? I have so many questions. And yes, it leads to my anxiety. First of all, we're going to take a quick side step and discuss, this goes along with your topic, AK, some hoarding issues. As an example of something that ties into the game and Action Economy, there is something in D&D that I never use, and that is potions. I'm too confused to use them. I just am.
We don't need them.
Yeah. Before we dive into the deep end, it's time for a confession here, okay? First of all, rip to any and all potions I've placed in my inventory for literally any game. BG3, D&D, Daggerheart, doesn't matter what it is. If I've participated in it, Responsibility, trusted diddle buddy. It's gone in my inventory, never to be seen again. It just lives at the bottom of a purse with crumbs and sadness. I'm never going to use them because there's too much confusion on how do they work. Sure, in the 2014 5e rules, it's an action, but nobody ever actually does that, right? The unwritten law of the land is that it is a bonus action. But then you get people who are like, no, that's just silly. We've made YouTube videos about how it takes more than 6 seconds for us to drink a potion. So it's going to be a bonus action for yourself so that you actually use them, but an action to give to a friend. And then I'm going to forget that. So what if I try to give my buddy a health potion and I'm using an action to do that? That's just a waste. And then now, Raw 2024 is bonus action. But I mean, do we really care about that? Because it's,
we don't.
It's the 2024 rules and we're just like, whatever. So screw it. I'm casting Fireball and I'm not using a potion. Thank you. Next.
Can I just say that the first time I think I've ever used a potion in game was in The Adventures of Bud and Herb?
I think that is correct. Same for myself.
Yeah.
Next, math. I'm bad at it.
So much.
Let's really slow things down here, okay? It's your turn. Are we going to be upcasting a spell? Are we adding bonuses for rage or enlarge, etc.? I've grabbed more D10s, but wait, I was holding my quarterstaff with one hand, so I need D8s. I had inspiration. Wait, can I use that on the damage, or was that just for the roll to hit? I mean, it's been 87 years since I've rolled to hit. I can't remember how many key points I've used. The baddie's gonna use the legendary resistance against my stunning strike anyway, so what are we even doing here, people? Plus, calculate in all of the crazy-ass Pythagorean theorem that's required for flying and jumping. I mean, God forbid you give one of your player characters the boots of springing and striding. It's all over after that. And they have the mobile feat. I mean, God.
I'm gonna let you take a breath. Fitz is all of us right now.
I mean, sure, and we can never remember, are we rounding up or rounding down? I feel like we're only rounding down when we're being forgiving and rounding up when we're also being forgiving. So, what if my speed is 35 and I'm at difficult terrain and then I'm quarter movement because I'm running through some spiritual guardians? Like, how fast can I go? How many squares can I move? I'm just so confused. Thank you.
Doing the work here today, Fitzy. Doing the work.
Oh,
spells.
Boy. Spells. Just spells.
Just spells, you guys. Just spells, all right? You've got a description longer than a paragraph. You're going to spend a full round reading it, and by the time we get to your turn, the game board has changed, and you're going to panic, and you're just going to do Guiding Bolt anyways. I mean...
Yeah.
Fuck it, right? That, or we're going to get to your turn, you're going to attempt to cast that spell that you've never cast before because the paragraphs, it's just paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of details, but you're like, you know what? No, I'm going to try it this time. Well, guess what? We're now going to spend 10 minutes arguing over how that spell actually works and if there are rolls and if the damage hits now or on the other person's turn. So, we've just come to a screeching halt so that you can cast some sick-ass spell that's not going to work anyways.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, come on now. Let's talk about casting 2 spells in a turn. 2 spells. You've got cantrips, you got leveled spells. You gotta make sure. One's an action, one's a bonus action. Inevitably, you're going to cast one as an action, and then as a leveled spell, and then you're going to go say, oh, I wanted to Toll the Dead. Well, I can't do that because I just used Cure Wounds instead of Healing Word. I'm a dumbass. Let's move on. Then, you gotta remember, are you concentrating on something? You can't have 2 of those up. It's not your turn anymore, but you gotta roll a concentration check because you fell off a ledge because you couldn't calculate your movement speed.
And relax.
Let's not even talk about holding spells. All right, that's for a later slide. Reactions. This is the later slide. Let's get really annoying and start a fight. Opportunity attacks. Some people feel spicy about them. I am pointing a finger here.
I feel so spicy. I do feel so spicy about them.
And then we have so many feats. We've got Sentinel. We've got Mobile. We've got to Warcaster or not to Warcaster. There's so many feats, and they all fuck up reactions because, inevitably the baddie's going to want to move out of your range, or you're going to want to move in. You're going to try to cast a spell, and you got to make sure you got the right feat for it.
Feats.
Feats. Which then brings into argument the order of operations. I mean, look, we can even talk about Counterspell and Silvery Barbs here because those are obviously going to be an issue. But let's get into the meta of it all. If you're holding an action, then the GM's not going to do that thing. You just lost your spell slot. Or if you're like, I'm going to flip off this thing and I'm going to fastball special my buddy. It's never going to happen, you guys. It's just never going to happen. Don't bother holding your action. It's not going to happen. You're losing a spell slot. You're going to look lame. And that's that. Next. Haste. I will take no further questions. Action. And slide 8. No matter what you do, you've blown it.
Oh, no.
Sit in your failure and wait an hour for initiative to get back to you.
Oh, that was beautiful. Wow. That was just lovely. Wow.
I have not healed.
I don't know
No.
why you were concerned, Fitz. We could have just
I know.
ended the show with that.
I know.
Yeah.
Explosions. There's so many things about your presentation that I almost did Hills to Die on, right? Opportunity attacks, freaking Silvery Barbs.
Silvery Barbs, man. Silvery Barbs.
My least favorite spell in the
Oh God, you
Wow.
killed Graham.
I know. Oh my god.
So yes, in
Yes,
I love
summation,
it.
action economy gives me anxiety.
So good. So good.
Freaking anything you'd like to, the chat was going off, just really
Yeah.
making sure you were okay more than anything.
Yes. Someone get her some water.
Yeah, Sam wants to make sure that you're like, let's do some box breathing together real quick, everybody.
Sure. To be fair, I have not had lunch, but I have had a lot of coffee, so.
Amazing.
Can I share this one?
Yeah.
I stopped typing because I needed my fingers to snap to this wrist so hard. Oh man, that was good. That was right.
Thank you.
That was real.
I have learned nothing. I am still traumatized. Let us move on.
I think strides forward were taken here today together. I think they were. All right, DT, you ready to bring it home?
Yep, it's time to get serious now. It's now time to talk about the real issues plaguing TTRPGs.
Oh boy.
Wait a minute. There we go.
That's it. Every campaign needs a chaotic goose NPC, and this is the hill that I am willing to honk on.
I like it.
Next
I
slide,
like it.
please. So,
Oh Jesus.
in this presentation, I will show beyond any doubt that the presence of a chaotic goose NPC will improve any TTRPG campaign by 1,000%. And if you don't believe me on that, you can just fucking fight me. Because
Alright.
it is what it is. It's like-
Ah!
So let's go some goose lore. You know, these are the perfect agents of chaos. They're inherently unpredictable.
True.
They respect no law, no alignment, and they can cause chaos in any situation: combat, social situations, even politics. They are the perfect agent of chaos, and there is no comeback on them.
Sorry.
That's fine. The slide's fine. So, the mechanics. As a GM, how do you implement the chaotic goose in your campaign?
Okay.
So
That's
let's
what
go
I'm
through it.
wondering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go
Yeah.
through
Thank
it.
you.
Next point, AK. So, hit points. Yes. Next. Attacks. Of course they can pick. I've gone for 1d4 chaos damage. You know, that's up to the GM. The honk causes fear, no save. And the wing flap, which doesn't really do anything, but it's good for dramatic effect, especially if the goose is getting out of there in a quick situation. And finally, of course, the alignment. A lot of people don't like alignment, but for this chaotic goose, it just is. That's the alignment. There is no other alignment. It's chaotic goose.
Feels good.
And if you're playing anything else, even with your player characters, you're just wrong. You've got to be chaotic goose. Moving on.
Okay. Sure.
So, here we have a little bit of a case study.
Good.
in previous D&D campaigns that I've played, we've had hero geese. Like, things took an unexpected turn when a goose became the unintentional hero in our story. During a routine mission to gather information on the evil King Vargos, our ranger rolled poorly, leading to the DM to introduce a random goose that attacked her. What started as a joke became serious when our bard decided to use animal friendship on the goose, and suddenly it was part of our party. The goose followed us around, causing chaos wherever it went, and became a running gag in the group. But the real twist came when we infiltrated the king's court. In a tense moment, the goose honked loudly, and to our surprise, Vargos reacted in fear, recognizing the goose as an omen from a prophecy foretelling his downfall. What was once a joke had turned into a key plot point. The townspeople, who had grown fond of the goose's chaotic antics, rallied outside the palace, and when Vargos ordered the goose captured, a full-scale revolt broke out. In the chaos, the goose bit Vargos, triggering his collapse from power. The people of the kingdom hailed the goose as a symbol of rebellion, and leading to a successful coup that none of us had anticipated. What started as a silly, random encounter turned into the most dramatic and memorable moment of the campaign, with a goose inadvertently toppling a tyrant and leading a revolution. As you see, people, geese are the agents of chaos. They can lead us to freedom. All hail the goose.
All hail the goose.
Next slide, AK.
Wow.
So, as a GM,
Yeah.
how are you going to use the goose? Well, of course, you've got
Okay.
side quests that your party won't see coming. So, up first, retrieving the golden egg. Spoiler, it's just a normal egg, but the goose doesn't care. Stopping the goose rampage. The party must chase a rampaging goose through the village, but every time they corner it, it honks and escapes. What are you going to do? And last but not least, diplomacy with the goose. The party has to convince the goose to leave a farmer's field peacefully, but you have no common language, so good luck with that. Next slide. So these are the main counter arguments that I hear a lot about this, and I'm very, very passionate about it. And I refuse to entertain them. You are just simply wrong for not including a goose in your campaign. And here's some of those ridiculous counter arguments that I hear. Up first, but geese won't fit in my campaign. Wrong. Geese are universal.
Okay.
My players will just kill it. Not if the goose kills them first.
True.
And geese are too silly for my grimdark campaign. Incorrect. A goose is the perfect agent of grim chaos. We've been through this, people. Get with the program. Next slide, please.
And I'm glad that you gave a beautiful representation of the grimdark goose.
Yes, there he sits on his dark throne. Look at my boy. So, what further proof do we need? Well, we've got evidence from nature. So here's some real-life goose facts that prove my point. Fact 1, geese can hiss, honk, and attack simultaneously. They are the kings of multi-attack actions.
That is true.
Fact 2,
So true.
geese are fiercely territorial and have no regard for authority. Perfect for
Also
any
true.
TTRPG. And fact 3, a goose can remember faces. Perfect for holding grudges in-game.
Is that
What
true?
more can a GM ask for?
Oh no.
Is that actually true?
I'm
That
so
is
worried.
true. That is a real fact.
He's fat.
They remember
slide, please.
faces?
They remember faces. So I went out to the TPD community, the players in the TPD community who have witnessed the goose's power, and they gave me some of their testimonials. First up, Sarah Mobley told me, I laughed until I cried when the goose ruined our heist, Noblob. I don't know what the last bit was about, but perfect. Jax then told me the goose was scarier than the dragon, 10 out of 10, would honk again. Our good friend Mike, sporadic, he confided in me that we tried to tame the goose, but that was a big mistake, almost as big as the mistake the TPD community makes on what aioli is. And my final quote came from AK, but for some reason she just said, "Can I pet that dog?" Next slide, please.
She did say that.
She did say it. So in conclusion, the goose is the unsung hero of RPG campaigns. The goose will enhance immersion, introduce chaos, and provide memorable moments. So go forth, my fellow GMs, and unleash the goose. And for my final slide, my final thoughts on this, remember that the goose is eternal. And in the end, the goose will honk, and you will thank me for it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk today.
That's so deep. Wow. For a minute there, I thought that you were being. Okay. Actually, let me switch that. could you possibly have the spirit of a goose as a character, or it has to be a literal goose? Could you have a hobgoblin in your party that is chaotic goose and therefore
I think,
has
I think you're onto something there, Matt. I think you could
Okay.
have someone in your party who just, embodies that chaotic goose energy. Although the way that you originally put it there with a spirit goose, that's even more potential hijinks. So bravo to you for bringing forward a point I hadn't even thought of. So well done, you.
A Barovian goose is formed
Barovian
of mists and waddles out towards your party.
no,
Count
they're
Goosula
protecting
coming
us.
to Barovia soon.
Count
Yeah.
Goose.
IRL.
Brilliant.
Geese terrify me. So if I had to encounter one in a campaign, that is.
Yeah, they don't mess around. That's for sure.
Mess around.
I mean, I don't think anybody can argue. Does anybody actually in the chat work with geese in any way, shape, or form? And if so, do they have calm, lovely moments? Because I think, I've only been attacked.
The real friends we made are the geese we kill along the way.
No. We don't need to be killing no geese.
That's a bit harsh.
It's a you live, I live. Let them work, let them live situation.
Oh man,
Not if you're multi-attacking me. Listen, if you do want to live and you want to stay over at that lake, fine. But the second there is hissing, honking, and like stabbing, game on.
Wait, real talk. Have you guys been attacked by geese?
Yes. I mean, snapped at mouth, hand in mouth. This is why I want to know, because Sarah Mobley and I probably have seen the same geese gaggle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I pet one in the park yesterday. Sarah, so are you talking about the ones who had little babies like a couple of months ago? And man, if you breathed wrong, it would go anywhere near those babies.
Yeah,
they were scary.
We had them.
The dogs were scared.
When I worked at Muzak, there was a little pond on one side of it with like picnic tables for us to take our lunch breaks.
Yeah.
And so they would wander between the pond and the parking lot and terrorize me every morning. They knew they could smell my fear, and they would come at us in the parking lot, and I hate them, and they scare me, and I don't like it.
All right.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with a goose. I have had problems with turkey, but not.
That's because you're a freaking druid, and they don't smell your fear the way they do mine.
Fitz, the goose whisperer.
I guess so. No, Sarah Molly's the goose whisperer.
Yeah,
She's the one out there
petting them. Come on, man.
Come on now.
You really pet one?
Oh, dude, sickle.
I love it.
Go get your
that was beautiful.
I hope.
That was fun.
Chat, tell us what you think too. But y'all seem to be liking it too. I hope that there are more PowerPoint parties in our future.
Man,
because there is just an abundance of topics we could all rant on, and I feel bad that Evan didn't get in on this because I feel like he's got.
Oh, he's got some.
He's got some. I don't know if I have the emotional armor for his why druids are the worst. PowerPoint. We might have to have a conversation offline about how that might be the one X card for me.
Just remember, the safe word is Poughkeepsie.
Kipsy, that's right.
Poughkeepsie. All right, at a PowerPoint party, are there ever things that are like super positive, or are they usually like, this is why? Can they just be, here's why?
Yeah.
The Forgotten Realms is the best campaign setting.
They can be positive, or they can be like listicles. My first PowerPoint party, I ranked people born on July 2nd from worst to best. So,
okay, I get it now.
I happen to know 9 people born on July 2nd. So I put us in order and said why.
I see.
I put myself squarely middle of the pack, just in case anyone's worried.
You know 9 people that share a birthday with you?
It's so much.
No, I said you know 9 people. Period.
9 people.
I know more than those that I included on the PowerPoint. I just cut myself off with people I could have a reasonable opinion about.
Wow.
Dang.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. I love it.
Poughkeepsie. So
that was really fun.
That was a very fun re-entry. Graham, thank you for joining us from my dining room kitchen table.
Yes, thank you, Graham. That was a gorgeous. Y'all's PowerPoint skills
Wow.
are on point.
I that's the one thing I was actually telling Graham this last night. That's the only thing I think I miss. Well, paid time off. Paid time off and making PowerPoints are the only two things that I miss about the corporate world.
Corporate world.
We
Yeah.
don't make enough
Corpo.
PowerPoints for TPD or Bevins Brothers Creative, and I would like to see that era
Let's
end
change it.
and a PowerPoint era begin.
Let's change it.
All right.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to take a
I'm
course
ready.
or something. I need to take a zhuzh course
Yeah.
in my PowerPoints. I feel lame. I just had a
I
couple
know.
Oh, me
skits.
too. Me too. I was just like,
Gotta
whatever.
up our
Let-
game, man.
I'd like to point out as well to what Tay just said there. It's like you've got to be careful how you say that, because if you want more PP content specifically, you need to subscribe to the Patreon. That's just the way
There
it
it
goes.
is.
That's an excellent point. Please do. Yes.
I am curious to know, both in live chat and because I think we're about to round this up, so in comments later whenever you are watching this back, what hills would you die on?
Mhm.
What
Yeah.
topics would you like to cover? And maybe we'll have you on as a guest. Or what topics would you like to toss out to us and we'll cover on your behalf and make them as unhinged and feral as possible?
Obviously.
Please. Yeah. Please.
And yes, I
That's-
do recommend everybody having a PowerPoint party with your friends. It is so fun.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we'll
It's
see you all
happening.
in the discords.
We'll see you in the Discords. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this week, and we'll be back next week. Well, who am I? Graham, please, safe travels back
Yes.
home tomorrow.
Fingers crossed.
Tiny fingers crossed.
Yes.
Tiny
Tiny
fingers.
Tiny fingers.
Amazing. All right, everybody. Thanks
Bye,
for
everybody.
joining. We'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Next week.